or political.
The United States may not have bought Greenland despite threats from its president, but America is closer than ever to controlling large parts of the island nation. Well, you heard that right. Donald Trump has not given up on his Greenland dream. He has simply changed his strategy. On Wednesday, the American president declared that after talks with NATO chief Mark Rutte, he has struck a deal on the future of Greenland, agreeing to what he calls a future framework for the island. He told reporters at Davos that the deal gives the United States everything that it's wanted so far. And on his social media platform, he declared, and I quote, "Everyone agrees the United States is the most powerful country anywhere on the globe," unquote. While the details of this deal remain limited, reports suggest that the new agreement allows the U.S. to exercise sovereign control over selected military zones in Greenland. These areas would effectively become American territory, similar to British bases in Cyprus, allowing Washington to operate independently. And in return, Trump has dropped his threat to impose new trade tariffs on the European allies of America, who had refused to fall behind him in his plans to take over Greenland. Just hours before announcing the deal, Donald Trump had demanded the right to buy Greenland from Denmark. Then at the World Economic Forum at Davos, he claimed that Europe owed the island to the United States for America's role in the World War II. But European allies pushed back against Trump's claims. Denmark rejected any proposal to sell its territory. Greenland's local government also made it clear that it was not for sale. And so the result was a compromise. Trump is not buying Greenland. He's not taking over the whole of the island. Instead, this new deal allows the United States to control parts of Greenland, mainly the military bases and the strategic zones there. These areas would function like American territory. U.S. forces can operate there, build infrastructure, and run security missions. Essentially, in simple terms, Greenland remains Danish territory, but some key locations will be under U.S. control. It's like dividing the island into different zones. Denmark governs most of it, while America controls the most sensitive military areas. Trump says this is needed to stop Russia and China from expanding in the Arctic. Supporters say it strengthens Western security, but critics say that it weakens Greenland's sovereignty. So this is not annexation, but a sort of strategic partition of Greenland. Why is Greenland so important? Well, there are three major reasons. The first one is, of course, the geography. Greenland sits between North America and Europe, directly along key missile and aircraft routes. In any future conflict involving Russia or China, the Arctic could become a major battleground. The second one is resources. The island holds vast reserves of rare earth minerals, crucial for electronics, weapon systems, as well as clean energy technologies. China, remember, has been expanding its presence in Arctic mining and infrastructure. The U.S. wants to prevent that. And the third reason is missile defense. Remember, Trump has been pushing his Golden Dome project, a missile shield that would use Greenland as a forward base against potential Russian attacks. In short, whoever controls Greenland controls access to the Arctic. NATO officials say that this deal is aimed at preventing Russia and China from gaining influence in the region. But let's be serious. This is about America and its rivals. Russia has been increasing military activity in the high north in recent years. And China, though not an Arctic nation, calls itself a near-Arctic state and has invested heavily in this region. For the U.S., this deal is part of a wider strategy to reassert dominance in the Western alliance. but it has also raised concerns. Some European governments fear that the US is acting unilaterally, sidelining its allies and undermining shared decision-making. France has already indicated that it will not support the arrangement. Britain and Norway have expressed unease as well. Trump's threats and rhetoric continue to keep Europe on an edge. At Davos, Trump warned that the US would remember if Denmark refused his demands. In fact, he also called Greenland a big, beautiful piece of ice and suggested that only America could defend it. For anyone paying attention, this is Trump's way of keeping political pressure on a smaller ally. What do Greenlanders have to say? Take a listen.
Negotiate, like, if he wants some minerals, he can have negotiations with Greenlanders if he wants some, but not. We cannot be owned.
I thought that America was our friend. I thought they were our friends. Maybe it's Trump. They were our friends for a long time. We got to know them. They visited Kangerlussuaq. They are in Pituffik Air Base. We depend on them. But since they decided to do that, threatened to take control of Greenland, they suddenly seem scary.
So what happens next? Well, for now, the agreement remains a framework. It is not finalized treaty. Formal negotiations between the US, Denmark, Greenland and NATO partners are all expected in the coming weeks. And key questions remain unanswered. Which bases will fall under US control? How much authority will Denmark retain? Will Greenland's local population have any say at all? And how will Russia and China respond? European leaders are holding an emergency summit to coordinate their position. NATO has paused its plans for a separate Arctic mission to avoid escalating tensions. We, of course, will continue to track developments very closely for you.